All right, welcome to Twin Terror. I'm David,
Not Gary.
and we're trying something different here, which is a StreamYard reading. And
Yes.
today we're going to talk about
We're going to talk about the 2024 election and whether anything has changed after Trump's little incident with his
the
ear.
incident, which
Yes.
I refer to as the incident. So, their message is still the same. You got to get out and vote. And if you vote in big enough numbers, you'll overcome any gerrymandering, voter suppression, and Biden will be put into office. But obviously, with the incident happening in Pennsylvania, the energies have shifted. And how does that impact the
The 2024 presidential election has that had an impact on the 2024 election?
Has that had an impact? And if so, what's that impact? Okay. So we're going to start off with that, entertainment purposes only.
I got my cards.
All right. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
No, you start.
Coward. All right. Let's see what we got. Queen of Cups. Interesting. And I've heard somebody else mention this, that the shooting has caused both sides to try and calm the rhetoric down. Biden was out there, I believe, first with hey, we're better than this. This is unacceptable. We don't go killing our political opponents. We resolve this at the ballot box. And then Trump came out with a statement basically saying, condemning violence, and this is not how we do things in the United States. So if anything, they're putting a cup on the emotions that were really peaking there, to the point where the emotions got so high that a Trump supporter tried to take out Trump. Crossed with, look at that. Crossed with the six of swords. So we're going from really tumultuous waters to calmer shore. So the effect that this shooting has is actually to put a cap on the emotions and to calm things down a little bit. Mm-hmm. To bring things, you maybe have the energy expanding out and to now bring it closer to the vest. Bring things in tightly. But the other thing it's going to do impacting this election, besides calming things down, is that people are going to be circling the wagons. Trump supporters are going to circle around Trump. The timing of this shooting was pretty good for Trump, because if there was going to be an insurrection at the RNC, that's not happening now, or that didn't happen because, Trump's got a bandage on his ear. So everybody has to be nice to him now. In fact, it's funny. His whole take on it is, I've got a bandage on my ear, so you have to dismiss all my court cases for the good of the country. He's trying to message that the whole reason everybody's upset is because he's going to court and going to prison for all his misdoings, and he should be forgiven for that. Okay. That works, I suppose. Works really well for you. In the past, we got the Page of Pentacles. It's all this messaging about values, but it really, here's the problem. He's messaged to young people about what his values are, and it was a young person on his side that took him out. And thank God it was not some immigrant or Democrat or both, some combination of both. Because now all the Trump tards can do is say that, he just recently registered as a Republican. No, he didn't. He registered in 2022, and he voted in 2022. So, no, sorry. What this is a young guy who liked Trump and tried to make a name for himself by taking Trump out, because he'd forever be associated with Trump henceforth. But, it's like looking at that in the past. Current situation is Two of Wands. If you want to make it to election day, you're going to have to calm things down. It's just what's going to have to happen. You have to look forward here. Overarching energy is the Devil card.
Funny how we always get that on a Trump reading.
I do, don't I? In this case, I think what happened was the rhetoric got so hot that somebody went after Trump. He lost control of MAGA. Just for a moment, he lost control of the beast that he created. And if he wants to maintain control, he's got to dial down the rhetoric. But the thing is, Trump lives and thrives in chaos. So how long can he keep the rhetoric down before he amps it up again and runs the risk of losing control of the monster? Lesson we learn is judgment. He's going to have to exercise judgment. He has to be judicious when he calls his minions to rise for him. You're asking, how's this going to impact the election? It's calming things down, but it may not be calm for too long because it requires Trump to show restraint. Outcome is the 10 of coins. 10 of coins is about lineage, DNA, wealth, values. I expect that Biden's going to keep the rhetoric down for the sake of democracy. Trump's going to have to fight himself because he's lived his whole life causing problems. How is he going to stop now? How's it going to affect the election? In the end of the day, if we're looking at how this affects the election, people need to decide what country they want. You know, are they going to chain themselves to democracy or are they going to change themselves to an autocracy? They need to make a choice. They need to vote their values or with tradition. I still think if people go out and vote, that Biden's going to win. Tradition's going to win out here. But I really do think that the temperature's been taken down a little bit and will continue to stay down.
So what do you want me to throw on?
Same thing.
All right. Should I do the same spread?
However you want.
Okay. Well, let's for entertainment purposes only.
Exactly.
So are we going to take down the temperature and what kind of impact is this going to have on the election? So I'm going to focus more on the impact on the election.
Or you can do a different question if you want, but yeah, it's kind of that same vibe.
Yeah. Well, do you want to do? Has this changed people's perspectives on the candidates, or?
Sure, why not? Go for it.
Okay, that's right. Has this changed people's perspectives on the candidates? Okay, foundational card. 9 of Pentacles. So the foundation is, we have this nation of wealth. It's the greatest nation and the wealthiest nation. And, even though some people think we need to make it great again, there's some people that think it's already great. And so the foundation is, we've got this great country and we've got this democracy that seems to be working for people and we need to protect it. Crossed with the Hierophant. So this is your kind of like your formalized institutions. So it could be your religions, could be your government. So, we've got this wealthy nation. We've got this democratic government that everyone used to really enjoy, but there seems to be a kind of a play against it. The underlying energy is the Ace of Cups. So it's all about like new emotions. So like I mentioned, we've got this wealthy nation, this democracy that's over 200 years old that we used to think everyone liked, but now there's all these new emotions out there that are challenging the democracy. And do we really want a democracy? Maybe we want an autocracy, or we like authoritarianism. And that's kind of a scary thing that's happening to us these days. Okay, in the past, we had the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, the wands are about messaging, aren't they?
Fire energy, action.
Fire energy.
Action on things.
So in the Queen, this is kind of like, the Queen is kind of a nurturing card. And so it's that in the past, we've been very creative and passionate about our government and our democracy. And we've nurtured it. We've kept it going for 200 and almost 50 years at this point. The current energy is the Moon card. Oh, yes. We got some confusion and secrets, and we the current thing is we don't know what direction this democracy is going. Are we going to have a democracy after the 2024 election?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the polls, it's a toss up. If you believe the polls, it's a toss up. And up until Trump got his Purple Heart by giving his campaign speech in Pennsylvania, it was looking pretty good for Biden, but this could have changed the outlook a little bit here.
Sure. Threw that whole spread down.
This,
Barely see the 4 of Cups as you come
there
up
you go.
there.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we've got the 4 Cups. So the 4 Cups is about choices. So right now, we as voters, we have a choice. We're looking at we've got our 3 candidates out there, right? We've got Trump, we got Biden, and we got RFK Jr. And we're sort of studying this, not necessarily being very happy because the mainstream media is doing their level best to make sure we stay unhappy with Biden, even though personal opinion, he's doing a hell of a good job, especially with what he's been given. And so I think what happens is with this latest event that happened in Pennsylvania, we're looking at our options, and there's another option out there, which is stop looking at the candidate and start looking at the platform. And maybe that's what we need to do, is because there's no guarantee that the candidate we're voting for is going to be there after 4 years.
Right.
So the next one, the lesson to be learned.
Yes.
Lesson to be learned is the 4 Swords. So this is kind of contemplation. You got to step back, take a deep breath, relax, and think about what's going on here, and think about what your values are. What do you want to have happen here? Do you want to continue this little democratic experiment with democracy, or do you want to move away and go towards a kingship? Which was one of the things all the pilgrims fled. They came here for religious freedom. They came here to get away from the king and the monarchy, to set up a new land. That we fought a whole revolutionary war to get away from the king, and here we are 250 years later almost, and we've got one guy trying to get us back to where we fought a revolutionary war to get away from.
Yeah, and 6 Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, the lesson to be learned is the 10 of Wands. It's a long battle. It's a big burden. It's a long uphill fight, and we're getting close to the finish line on this. On November 2nd, we have to vote, and we're gonna look at this, and we're gonna vote whether we want to continue this experiment with democracy, or if we want to just give up and call it a kingship and have Trump to be our king. So that's what I'm seeing with these cards. You got any thoughts?
Don't move those cards, because I'm gonna read it as I see it. So the 9 of Coins, at the high energy, it's appreciating what you have. Low energy, it's taking things for granted. And you're crossed with the Hierophant. I think what it's saying is, we've had this, as you're pointing out, we've had this democracy for coming on 250 years or so. And I think we've been taking it for granted. In the past, you got the Queen of Wands. The passion for the people to get out and vote's gone down. More and more voter apathy, coupled with voter suppression laws. It's just, people have gotten apathetic, which opened the door for tyrants to come in and people to take over the country. Current situation right now with this election is the Moon card, because people don't know what to think anymore. They're hearing different stories. The media is confusing people, a lot of which is because the media has a vested interest in this government, and they've put their backings behind Trump. By the way, they're attacking Biden's age, but they do not grade Trump on the same grade curve as they do Biden, shows an incredible bias towards Trump. And so people are confused what they're supposed to do. They're hearing this message that they need to get out and vote and stop an autocrat from getting in there. But the Republicans are saying it's Biden's the autocrat, and the Democrats are saying Trump's going to be the autocrat. So it's causing confusion with people who don't think about things, because critical thinking hasn't been required. They just do what they're told.
Critical thinking's hard.
The overarching energy is the Four of Cups. It's like they don't like the choices they're being given. It's like you've got Trump and Biden. Well, those don't seem really great, and you got Kamala Harris and JD Vance. So it's like, as you were kind of touching on it, they have to. They don't like what they're being offered, but at the same time, the offerings spirit is dumbing down the offers for them. With the Supreme Court ruling that presidents can be kings, it's really come down to, who do you want? Do you want an autocracy, or do you want a democracy? And the lesson we learned is the Four Swords. You got to activate your critical thinking skills. You can't take a pass on this election. You can't be Nine of Coins in the past, taking things for granted. If you appreciate your democracy and you want to get it, you need to go out and vote for it. Your outcome is the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is a burden. It's been a struggle to keep our democracy going for 250 years. Underneath it, you've got the Ace of Cups. People had lost their passion, which is why they were taking things for granted. With all the events that are happening now, people's passions are really high, which is why we're having the events we're having right now.
Yep.
People are also exhausted. They're emotionally exhausted. They're physically exhausted from all the rhetoric and not having had to think very hard on things before. But again, the universe has simplified it for you. Which candidate do you think is going to keep your democracy? Which candidate do you think is going to take away your rights?
Yep. I totally agree. That's with that Ace of Cups is just this brand new emotion. This new emotion is beginning, and it's been dumbed down to a real simple choice.
Before it's not about people lulled themselves to sleep, which is how Trump got in 2016.
Yeah, because everyone knew Hillary was going to win.
Exactly, and he fired up the right. He fired up the extremists. The Democrats were just asleep at the wheel, and he got in. 2020, with COVID and everything like that, people got up and they got out and voted. But we did, it's like the thought that our democracy was at risk was not apparent to many people.
Yeah.
Some people saw it, but a lot of people didn't. And it was the events on January 6th that might have woke them up to just how bad things could have been.
Yep.
Had Trump been reelected. And now here we are in 2024, and that coup has never stopped. So we got that to face still. And it's really simple. Are you voting for the bloodless coup, or mostly bloodless coup, or are you voting for democracy? Take your pick. All right. Took a brief pause there to figure out where we're going next with this. And I think what we decided was
we're going to go home. We're going to take our ball and go home.
Yeah.
We said what needs to be said.
Long and short of it, it's the shooting seems to have taken some of the wind out of certain people's sails, because it got a little too spicy.
Yeah.
And the result appears to be unexpected. Trump was not expecting to be injured. And I will say it in such a way that if you believe that this was staged, I haven't said it wasn't. He was not expecting to be injured in this incident or in this thing. And if it wasn't staged, he still wasn't going there to be inspected and probably not having shots taken at or around him.
Yeah.
Now, whether he cares about the people behind him who died, probably not, because he's a malignant narcissist and that wouldn't bother him any. But it looks like, it's going to take the temperature down. And now between the assassination attempt, or the shooting, if you will, along with the Supreme Court ruling, people really need to sit down and figure out, what do they want from this country? Do they want an autocracy? Do they want a democracy? Because that's really what your vote has come down to. Which one of these two candidates in their Trump with Project 2025, as much as he tries to deny He doesn't know who the Heritage Foundation is.
Yeah.
There's all videos out there, him speaking at the Heritage Foundation and how he needs their support. This was when he was trying to pass the tax break for wealthy people. And he's behind. And I get the other part that was thrown out there was Project 2025. All they have to do is say, hey, you came up with all these great ideas in your administration. We're just showing you how to implement it. And then he'll say, I did? Oh, yeah, I did. Of course I did. Good idea. Except he'll call it, Project 47 or something.
No, he called it Agenda 47.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Project 2025 Light.
Yeah, it's Project 2025 with Trump peeing on it and putting a T on it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly when he put a gold toilet in there. That's exactly how he's run his entire life, and this is no different. And
we've got a super snarky video coming up.
Yeah,
later this week, taking that down.
This is what you get. This is what you're going to get. Which one do you want?
Yep.
You want Project 2025? Do you want Gilead? Do you want Handmaid's Tale? Or do you want your plain old democracy in the America that you've known? That's your choice.
Yep.
All up to you. Get out and vote.
Yep. You got to vote, though.
Yeah.
None of this assuming Biden's going to win nonsense.
Yes.
We have to go out there and make him win, and let's give him a Congress that he can work with to start undoing all of this corruption and dual tier justice system that Trump has now shown a big, bright, shiny spotlight on.
Yeah.
All the gifts Trump gives us are things that were always there, but were always in the dark and in the shadows and was kind of an underbelly. And now it's out there in the open, and now we got to fix it.
Yeah. The Republicans and like the Heritage Foundation, the Supreme Court, they're not even bothering to hide what their agenda is and what it's all about. They're not even trying to hide it. It's out there for you to see. If you want to stick your head in the sand, that's a choice. But for most people, they can't stick their head in the sand because it's out there. Make your choices. Choose well.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting our channel. We appreciate it.
Yeah, leave a message, like, share, subscribe. I go through all the comments and I respond to as many as I can.
Yeah, we hope you found this reading insightful, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Take care. Bye.